Have you ever wondered how escaped slaves must have felt as they tried to avoid being captured on their way to the north?
Sleepy? Hungry? Sneezy? Dopey? Doc? Oh, Doc.
Well, I'm Sydney and this is Max, and we're going to investigate the truth about the Underground Railroad as we blast through the past here in Sandy Spring, Maryland.
Two kids travel to places. Two kids discover traces of events that all happened before, where secrets are revealed and more. Sydney and Max, blast through the past. Sydney and Max, blast through the past. Sydney and Max, blast through the past. Where are they going today? Sydney and Max, blast through the past. They see the past in a whole new way. Sydney and Max. Sydney and Max.
This is the barn Doc said to me, Matt.
Barn? What kind of barn is this? It's made out of rock.
It was built in 1832 and actually was a hideout for some of the runaway slaves.
So this is part of the route that led to the north?
Oh yeah! Matter of fact, right down that road is one of the trails from the famous Underground Railroad.
Railroad? I don't see any tracks. How could a train get through those woods?
Really, Max?
What?
The Underground Railroad is a trail that led slaves to freedom. That is part of the original trail.
Well, part of one of the original trails.
Wait, how many trails were there?
Yeah, Doc, I thought the Underground Railroad was just one long trail.
Oh, no, there were any number of trails that would take escaped runaway slaves, and they would get help from some of the freed slaves and some white abolitionists.
So there were hiding places like this on a lot of different trails?
That's right. Actually, come on, I'll show you inside the barn.
Sure. Doc, can you tell me more about the Underground Railroad?
Oh, yeah!
Max, aren't you coming?
You know, as much as I'd love to hear another one of Doc's stories, I think I'm gonna take a nap.
Sydney and Max.
Max, wake up.
Huh?
We're gonna go check out that trail.
Why would I want to do that?
Because if you don't, I'm going to tell Doc that you are so interested in hearing all about the Underground Railroad.
Fine, let's go. So slaves actually ran through these woods?
Yeah, the trees helped hide them.
Huh. This place is pretty cool. Must have been a nice place to stop and rest as long as it didn't rain.
I don't think they got much rest. Anyway, Doc said they actually hoped for rain because it would help cover their tracks and their scent.
What do you mean, cover their scent?
Well, the guys looking for slaves usually had dogs with them to help sniff them out, so it would help them cover their... What are you doing?
Well, maybe this will make it harder for Doc to find me.
You know, showers work too. Let's go.
What are you staring at?
Doc told me about this. It's called a bramble patch.
It looks like a bunch of thorny bushes to me.
That's what a bramble patch is.
Oh. Well, what makes it so important?
Sometimes the slaves would actually use this for cover and get some rest and sleep.
They would lay in this? Oh, no, thank you.
No, Max, they would dig a hole underneath it and then crawl under there and go to sleep.
Wouldn't the dogs find them?
Would you go walking through a bramble patch?
No way. I don't want to get all stuck and stabbed by those thorns.
Neither would the dogs. That's what made it a good place to rest. Well, didn't you want to take a nap?
Leave the jokes to me. All right, Sydney. Now which way do we go?
I bet you wish you'd heard Doc's story now, don't you?
Come on, we're in the middle of nowhere. Which way is it?
Just think, the slaves had the same dilemma. One way was the path to freedom and the other got you really lost.
Okay, well, how did they find their way through here?
Doc said they used secret signals.
Okay, well, what kind of signals?
Sometimes like a pile of rocks or a broken down tree branch would point the way.
Oh, That makes sense, because I saw a movie on TV where the slaves used quilts and lanterns all the time as their signals.
I don't think they use anything all the time.
Well, why not? It'd be easier for escaping slaves to have a consistent set of signals that they would use.
What about the slave catchers?
What about them?
Well, don't you think they would have caught on rather quickly? I mean, if something was used all the time, then they would have been able to follow it too.
I never thought of it like that.
Maybe you shouldn't believe everything you see in movies.
All right, well, now which way do we go?
Doc said when we get to the crossroads, stay to the left.
You could have said that in the beginning.
This must have been pretty scary for a lot of runaway slaves.
What do you mean? Great place to cool off.
Yeah, if it was summertime and it was hot and humid. But there was one more problem.
What's that? Mosquitoes?
No. Doc said a lot of the runaway slaves didn't know how to swim.
That's all right. They could just hop across.
Just like that?
I guess you made your point.
Now imagine if you fell in and you didn't know how to swim.
Okay, I guess that could have been pretty scary.
Come on.
Finally! I bet these slaves were pretty happy when they got out.
I don't know about that. It seems like they'd be pretty easy to spot in an open field.
Well, yeah, but somebody owned this field, and because the path went here, there's probably a friendly farmer willing to help.
Not necessarily.
What do you mean?
Well, Doc said that even abolitionists who were against slavery were afraid to break the law.
So these guys didn't get much help?
Not from abolitionists. Most of the help came from freed slaves like Harriet Tubman.
Oh, I know her! What'd she do again?
She had already escaped to the north, so she came back 19 times to help free the slaves.
Well, this trail wasn't that bad. It's probably pretty popular.
Doc said that only a small percentage of runaway slaves actually made it through the Underground Railroad.
Why?
Well, remember, we were able to make it through the trail without patrols of slave catchers looking for us. Nobody actually knows how many slaves were caught.
So you're saying it must have been pretty dangerous to try to escape?
I'm sure it was. And if they were caught, they were probably beaten.
Huh. I guess I never realized how brave runaway slaves really were. Well, only one thing to do now.
What's that?
Race you back to the barn.
Max, watch out for the stream!
Ah!
Oh.
Two kids travel to places. Two kids discover traces of events that all happened before, where secrets are revealed and more. Sydney and Max. Sydney and Max.